Before this event begins, we would like to acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of this country and its waters, and that Murdoch University stands on Noongar country. We pay our respects to Noongar elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge their wisdom and advice in our teaching and cultural knowledge activities.
Hello and a very warm welcome to everybody to another one of Murdoch University's international webinar series. Today's webinar is about our very popular and exciting Master of Information Technology degree. My name is Tim Jardine and I'll be guiding you through this webinar as you hear from some of our fantastic information technology academic staff and one of their students and how you can get a scholarship from Murdoch University. We'll be having a live Q&A with our academics during this webinar at the end. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them up in the Q&A section and we'll get to as many as we can. For now,
My name is Paul Koutsakis. I'm the academic chair for postgraduate courses in IT. So basically, I'm chairing the master's and the graduate certificate and graduate diploma. The postgraduate courses are courses that people take after they finish their bachelor degree if they want to do a further specialization in their field of choice so that they can be more competitive in the work environment. So the Master of Information Technology takes between 1.5 to 2 years to complete. And the graduate certificate takes 6 months, the graduate diploma takes 1 year. Our students have plenty of options. The Master of Information Technology contains 3 majors, where we call them actually specializations. One is data science, the other one is internet working and security, the third one is IT management. Additionally to these, we are offering 2 combined degrees. One is a combined degree of a Master of Engineering and Master of Information Technology, and the other one is a combined degree of Master of Business Administration and Master of Information Technology. So plenty of options to choose from. Why would I recommend Murdoch? For three reasons. The first one is the quality of the teaching and research staff here. So all of our colleagues here have garnered through the years many accolades, both for their teaching and their research, and they have acquired significant funding from the industry. Speaking of industry, I'm moving to the second reason. And the second reason is that we have a high-class industry panel that is an advisory panel for us here. We meet regularly in order to make sure that the curriculum we are offering is exactly what the industry needs for people who graduate. And the third reason for recommending Murdoch is the very high quality labs that we have in which our students get excellent practical experience. Regarding the practical experience, here on campus we have the IT Innovation Hub, which is a teaching and learning space devoted to the students of IT, where they can get significant practical experience in networking, games development, data analysis, cybersecurity, and our students can remotely access the high-performance computing cluster that is available to them, which allows them to do their experiments even from their homes. Right now, we are living in a golden era for IT. IT graduates can work in all kinds of fields like commerce, telecommunications, banking, engineering, mining, law, in the government and in non-government sector. So we have plenty of our graduates who are working as AI analysts, so artificial intelligence, data analysts, cybersecurity experts, networking engineers, cybersecurity analysts, IT managers. So in all these sectors, our graduates are finding jobs. During this whole COVID-19 crisis, people have started communicating, working, studying, shopping, basically living in a virtual world. And this virtual world has been created by IT. Now, this virtual world is not going to go away, and the reason is that many people have understood during this crisis that they can work at least partially more effectively in this virtual environment. That's why this virtual world will need the people who created it, the IT professionals, to keep sustaining it and to take it to its next level.
So welcome back. It's an excellent video, and how fantastic was it to learn about our postgraduate information technology course options here at Murdoch. Don't forget, if you have any questions at all, be sure to submit it through our Q&A function for the upcoming live Q&A panel. To remind you of a couple key points our academics spoke about, within our 2-year Masters of IT program, you can choose to specialize in either data science, IT management, or internet working and security. You could study a combined Masters with our MBA plus Masters of IT course, which would give you a 2 master's degree qualifications in just 2 years of study at Murdoch. I'll now run you through the entry requirements of our Masters of Information Technology offerings and a great scholarship on offer for you. There we go. So to qualify for academic entry into Murdoch's Master of Information Technology, there are a variety of qualifications that make you eligible. Number 1, if you have a recognized bachelor degree in the area of IT. Or number 2, if you have a recognized non-IT bachelor's degree and a further postgraduate degree in IT. For example, a graduate certificate or a graduate diploma in that discipline field. For a full list of options available to you, for you to meet the academic entry, head to our website. Many of our international students don't have a bachelor's degree in IT and think that they won't be able to do a Master's of IT. But if you don't have a bachelor degree in IT, Murdoch has an academic pathway available to you. We offer a packaged postgraduate pathway that will have you graduating with a Master of IT in 2 years. This pathway is available by you starting with Murdoch Journey in a graduate certificate of IT, and then once you have successfully completed this, you can enroll in a graduate diploma of IT. Once you then successfully complete the graduate diploma, you move into the last year of your Masters of IT course. You still only study for 2 years, but each course is like a stepping stone to get your Masters of IT. The total 2-year tuition cost is the same as the Masters of IT. If this sounds a little confusing, don't worry. I'm also a little bit confused, but we'll explain it throughout this video. Our admissions team will always look to work with you on the best pathway available to you to get you your end goal, which is graduating with the Masters of Information Technology. So to move on to English requirements, for Murdoch's Masters of IT, I think I'm saying that a lot. The minimal English requirements is an academic IELTS score of 6.0. We also accept other English tests, and you can head to our website for full details on those. As Murdoch understands that many language centers around the world are now closed due to COVID-19, we have approved some interim English tests that are recognized for entry for our Semester 2 2020 intake. Now moving on to scholarships. To welcome you to the Murdoch community, we have a range of international welcome scholarships available. If you're thinking to study in Semester 2 2020, we are offering all international students a 20% scholarship. That's right. This is a 20% fee reduction of your course fees and valid for the entire course duration. You still have time to apply for Semester 2 2020 as classes don't start until next Monday. If you are currently outside of Perth or Australia, you can start your studies online. Just head to our website to find out how you can apply. What this means is that normally your annual tuition cost for the Master of Information Technology would be approximately $28,000 per year. But with a 20% scholarship, your cost is about $22,500 a year. With this scholarship, that's a total saving of over $11,000 for a 2-year degree. Also, there is no application process or GPA requirement for this scholarship. Simply apply for Semester 2 2020, accept your Murdoch offer, and we will welcome you into the Murdoch community with a 20% scholarship. It's that easy. We also have several other scholarships available, so head to our website for more information. That's murdoch.edu.au. Here at Murdoch, we love to have our students share their experience, and coming up now, you will hear from one of our current international students about what it is like to study information technology at Murdoch and live in Perth, the most affordable city in Australia.
My name is Gabriel, I am Brazilian and I'm studying Master of Information Technology. I did choose to study at Murdoch because it's first in Perth and I loved Perth, and as well as the environment in here and scholarship and the description of the unit guides, it was great, so it fits me very well. One reason why I choose IT as a course is because I already have this background in IT, but still I am now dealing with English environment, which is great, not here only in Australia, but in the world. And studying IT is great because this world is always changing. Like if you are out of the market for 1 or 2 years, what you have learned is not updated anymore. So one reason why I have chosen to study IT again is because I'm pretty sure that these new technologies will help me out when I go out in the industry, because the things that I have learned before may not be as updated as back those days. And IT is this, so you have to keep studying until you want to be in the industries working. Yeah? I did have labs and tutorials for each and every unit that I'm studying here. So always you have a lecture which is theoretical as well as the practical, and I think it's great because you can put in practice what we are learning for this specific unit. The facility that I most like at Murdoch was definitely the library, which is 24/7, and the environment there is great. Like even though when you are not really willing to study, you just go there and you feel like studying and eating all of the books you can ever imagine. That's great. Well, the practical experience that I've had at Murdoch is labs and tutorials, because each unit you have a theoretical part as well as the practical part, and it is great because you can have all of the theoretical knowledge that you have acquired and put in practice in tutorials and labs with tutors helping you out, which is great. So my tutors, all of them, they are very great when it comes to teaching practical stuff. And all the time that I've struggled with some specific topic in specific unit, all of the tutors, they were there to help. When I mailed them, they are quite fast to answer and being like with a willpower to help you out. So that's good. Tutors did a great job so far, yeah. The most experience that I have had here was to be very close to people from very far place in the world, like people that I've never thought to be friends, like in a daily life. I'm constantly like talking to them daily, so that's great, yes. Yeah, about scholarship, I got a 20% scholarship because of international students, as I am, which is great. If it wasn't the scholarship, I wouldn't be able to make it happen. So I think it's great, this opportunity that Murdoch gives to international students, helping them financially. One point that make me recommend students to come to Perth is because Perth for me is the best city in the world. Before I choose this city, I've been traveling here and there, and there's no comparison for me. I like much better Perth than Sydney and Melbourne. I don't know, for my lifestyle, this is just perfect. Like there's everything I need in a good amount. I think Sydney is too crowded and Melbourne like old style of buildings, and here's like more technological, and I think here is best fits me, my wishes and my goals. One thing that I really like about Perth is the weather. It's pretty much like my country back in Brazil, my city, which is great. And on top of that, we have beaches very close, and people are very polite and very nice, and everything is clean and great. Whereas Sydney and Melbourne is not as much. Still great places, but not as good as Perth, though, yeah. So one reason why I would recommend people to come to Murdoch is because this university is great, and I have actually put my brother here. My old brother is also studying here at the same course that I am, and yes, I could convince him because this is great. I'm having a great experience here, and I'm sure it will help me when I go out in the industry, because this uni is great. You really learn stuff, so it's very good. I have so many big dreams, and I have accomplished some of them back in Brazil, but it's still like very small compared with I really want to. Like I want to reach like as much as I can people in the world with some application that will make their lives easier, and on top of that, I make a profit with it. So I think it will be like win-win for me and for the world, and I hope to accomplish it soon.
Thanks very much to Gabriel. We'll now go into our live Q&A session. So joining us today, we have Dr. Polychronis. I keep getting it wrong. I even practiced just before we got onto this video. And still got
Paul is easier. Let's go with
Paul Koutsakis.
Yes.
Academic chair for our Master of Information Technology degree and senior lecturer in information technology here at Murdoch. Dr. Paul's research areas are in the design, modeling, and performance evaluation of computer networks, and has extensive publications and grants. Dr. Paul is a senior member of the IEEE, which is the world's largest technical professional organization for the advancement of technology. He has been honored 3 times as exemplary editor of the IEEE Communications Society for his work as an editor of the IEEE Communications Surveys and Tutorials Journal. Welcome, Paul.
Nice to be here.
So now what we'll do is get our colleague Carol to read out and show on the screen what questions have been asked. I believe there haven't been that many questions getting sent through, guys. So feel free to submit any questions while we have Dr. Paul's time. He's a very friendly lad, and he's a good guy too. So any questions, there's no stupid ones, but feel free to shoot them over for us to answer.
We've got one question. How much of the program is theory and how much is practical?
Each and every one of our units combines practice and theory. So all of our units, okay, obviously some of our units are a little bit more practical and some are a little bit more theoretical, but there is not even one unit where the two are not combined. And I think that's extremely important because the practical stuff is extremely important for the student's future career. The theoretical stuff is equally important because otherwise you don't really understand where the practice is coming from, and you don't really get the foundations in order to really excel in your work later. So this combination is what I think makes this program very special.
Absolutely.
We've got another question about partners and who we work with locally and internationally that Murdoch works with.
Well, our academics are very much into research, as much as we love teaching, but we are also very much into research. So we have collaborators from all over the world, and these include both academics and companies. So we have had our research funded by Amazon. We have had collaborations with other big international companies. We have had many collaborations, of course, here in Perth and across Australia. And I'm especially proud, for example, for a collaboration that I recently had with a company here that we are working on problems related to Internet of Things. We have colleagues who are working with multiple hospitals and general medical organizations in their work they're doing in data science and in trying to predict cancer. So we have several collaborations. And of course, as I already mentioned, we have collaborations with colleagues from universities all over the world. And we are publishing our work, our research work in the top journals in our field.
What really highlights is the fact that if you wanted to do a Masters of IT here at Murdoch University, that if your end goal was to get the Masters, and you would have to go through the graduate certificate, graduate diploma pathway. How does that work? If somebody like me who studied something unrelated to IT barely know how to double click a mouse, how would you prepare those types of students that have no coding background, for example?
Yeah. So the graduate certificate is comprised by 4 units, and these 4 units contain foundational material specifically for students like you, who and generally students who don't have an IT background. And these 4 units serve as an intro in order for the students to be able to cope with the load afterwards. For example, since you mentioned programming, we have a Python programming unit in the very first semester, which serves exactly this purpose, because Python is currently one of the most well-known and most asked for when you go out for work afterwards, programming languages in the world. Students learn Python without any assumption about their prior knowledge. They start from the very beginning, and they, at the end of the semester, they have arrived at a decent level of programming knowledge. Of course, within a semester, you cannot become an expert programmer, but you can get a decent level of programming knowledge so that you can continue afterwards in the program. So this first semester has been designed, which is basically the graduate certificate, has been designed especially for students who don't have a background in IT, so that they will be able to then take the more, let's say, advanced units.
Yeah, absolutely. So you would be confident after a student successfully completes their first graduate certificate that they'll be well enough equipped to graduate with the Masters of IT.
We are confident that when someone, as you said, successfully completes it, then they are able to do it. And it serves both ways, actually, the graduate certificate. It serves as a guarantee that this person who has completed the 4 units will be able to continue and successfully complete it, but it also serves as an alternative for the students. So obviously, although we are happy that the vast majority of our students are successful, there are some students who will find it quite difficult. Now, assuming that a student does not seem capable of doing the whole degree, the graduate certificate is, let's say that a student fails a unit, right? And they understand that this is quite difficult for them. If we had nothing to give them as a diploma, then all the money that they have paid and all the effort that they have made would have been lost. Whereas if they say after they take the 4 units and they pass them, look, this was quite difficult for me, maybe I failed a unit, or I barely passed, or now I decided that I want to do something different, they can still get the graduate certificate in IT, which means they have something to show for, and they can show a future employer that they do have some knowledge in IT as well. Having said that, makes sense. I believe that the very significant amount of work that is being done by our colleagues helps the vast majority of our students continue successfully into the master, and we are very happy for that.
Yeah, Murdoch does pride ourselves on the support that we provide our students. We have a 5-star excellence rating in student support. I pride myself on Murdoch's ability to take care of its students, whether it's extra curricular help or assistance with maths or anything like that. Murdoch has a very strong community sense of helping one another, which is great.
We've got another question. Lots of universities around Australia offer a Master of IT. What makes Murdoch's different and special?
Well, a couple of things. One of them is what we already mentioned, and that's this foundational material that we are offering in the first semester. Several other masters because I obviously know what is being offered across Australia. Several other masters do not offer this in the first semester, which basically means that if a student wants to enter, they either have the necessary background or they don't. If they don't, they have to do a bachelor. They have to do a bachelor and then go into that, which means an additional 3 years. Or they might get into it and they will not be successful. So by offering these units, I believe that we are one step ahead of the competition. The other thing that makes this master, in my view, quite special is what you have already mentioned, the amount of work that is being made, that is being done in order to help our students succeed and excel. We have specifically designed units for student projects. I'm especially proud of this because these are 2 kinds of units. One offers the students, the high achieving students, the opportunity to do an individual project. The other one offers the students the opportunity to do a group project. And we have had several of these projects lead to high quality publications. And these in turn have led the students who took part in these projects to find excellent employment afterwards. We even had recently a student being employed from our data science specialization, being employed by a very well-known bank before they graduated. Yeah. So they came here, they had a discussion, they saw how good the student was, and they offered the student the position before the student even graduated. And the other thing is that these publications have also led to some of these students continuing for a PhD, because they found out that they loved research and they continued into academia. So there's really lots of opportunities that this master is offering, and I, as academic chair, together with my colleague, Dr. Brenda Wang, we are very passionate about this, and I hope this shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is an extremely popular degree here at Murdoch University with a lot of happy students as well. Just a reminder, if you are interested in studying the Masters of IT at Murdoch University, there is a 20% scholarship on offer. Additionally, if you wanted to start this course online due to the pandemic at the moment, which is very unfortunate, you are able to start this course online. If you don't like the course, before Census Day, you are able to withdraw and receive 100% refund. So it's almost like a try before you buy. However, I'm fairly confident that you will enjoy the online course as well as the physical workshops or lectures that you will be attending. But I do encourage you to just give it a go. If you're not enjoying it, I think Census Day is end of week 4.
Correct.
So you have 3 weeks and 5 days worth of course content to go through. If you find that the online platform isn't for you, then we will be happy to give you 100% refund and keep those tuition fees into your account for when the borders are open again. So that's something to think about.
What type of innovative research or IT research is currently happening at Murdoch?
Well, we are doing research in all 3 of the specializations that we are offering. So just as a reminder, we are offering 3 specializations: IT management, internet working and security, and data science. So as I mentioned earlier, in our data science research, we are doing all kinds of stuff, starting from research on cancer to trying to find patterns of cancer, and additionally stuff that is related, for example, to networking. In my work, for example, we were gathering data from smart bins. We had sensors in actual garbage bins, and we were gathering data which were helping us predict temperature, predict people's movement.
I remember that. They were in the bins at Bush Court.
Yes, we were responsible for that. Yes. And we were able to predict people's movement. If you are able to predict people's movement, then you are able in crisis situations to put, for example, digital signages, which will help direct people so that you will save lives. And you can also use it for commercial purposes, using, again, digital signage in order to show the proper advertisement to the proper people who will be interested. That's for data science. In terms of networking, we are doing work that is related to traffic modeling, work that is related to how to predict what kind of traffic is going to come into a network, but also a lot of work that is related to network hardware.
Okay.
And in relation to IT management, we have large projects with even with foreign countries. For example, we had a project with the government of Bhutan, where we were helping them set up a big IT project for their government, and also projects in collaboration with the Australian government and with Australian companies as well. So these were just a few things. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we have lots of interesting projects going on all the time.
I'm just curious, with things like data science, would there be any units included in that course that are based on ethics and how you use that data?
Yes, we have actually, we place a very a large focus on ethics, and the proof of that is that we focus on ethics from the very first semester, in that foundational semester that I was talking about. One of the units that we are offering, which is titled IT Professional Practice, focuses a lot on ethics, because not only in data science, which of course is, there are big issues around data science. Almost everybody in the world knows about the Facebook scandal.
I was just about to bring that up. Mark Zuckerberg seems in a bit of hot water at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. And not only that, there are very big issues around data science and how you use people's data.
Absolutely.
And so we place this focus from the very first semester. This unit mainly focuses on ethics, not only, but mainly focuses on ethics, so that regardless of the student specialization, they will be able to understand the ethical implications of what an IT professional is doing.
Cool. I didn't want any Mark Zuckerberg graduates coming from Murdoch University.
Well,
not that he's in trouble or anything.
No, we do want people with the brilliance of Mark Zuckerberg, but maybe not the ethics.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're worried about not being ethical with the data that you get or are practicing with, we will show you and guide you the ethical way how to be a professional practitioner in the IT field, which is good to know.
In what sectors can we get employment after completing Masters of IT?
In what sectors can we get them?
In what sectors?
In basically everything, because right now all the companies are looking for IT graduates. There was a recent article in the Australian Computer Society website, and it was back in mid 2019, where it explained that experienced IT project managers in all kinds of IT projects have salaries above $200,000 per year, whereas even beginning IT professionals, especially in data science, start with salaries above $100,000. So some of the areas where you can get employed are telecommunications, programming, obviously, as a data scientist, as a data analyst, as a network engineer, and you can get even in law, you can find a job right now as an IT professional. And I don't know if you or our viewers have heard about it. There was a very famous experiment a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where some data scientists created an application, a program, and they entered data from human rights cases into the program, and they asked the program to predict, after they trained it, of course, to predict the verdict of the jury. And the program was right in almost 80% of the cases. So basically the program could predict what the jury would say at the end of the trial, before even the trial
happened.
Of course, this doesn't mean that we don't need lawyers and
the human element
anymore, and yes, exactly, and judges anymore. But it means that it can be enormously helpful to have such a tool, because it can help someone understand where something is going and possibly try to improve what they are doing if they want to get a better result.
Absolutely. I don't know if I would want a computer or a system judging whether I'm guilty or not.
Of course.
But it's very interesting, and like you said, a very useful tool. That's fascinating to tell whether somebody would, what a jury would think of a certain individual. Amazing.
Is the 20% scholarship available for every student and every course? And if so, is there any other additional terms and conditions?
Okay, I can take this one.
Yes,
please.
I will do the academic part. You do the financial.
Yeah, no worries at all. So the terms and conditions on the website. So full details on those, head over to it. It's called the International Welcome Scholarship. Right now, it's only for semester 2, 2020. So this semester starting essentially this week, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
In just a few days.
In just a few days, but there is time. I asked Dr. Paul how late we can delay until you start, and that's the beginning of week 2.
Yes.
Would be the absolute latest that you could start.
We accept students coming into the program until Monday of week 2, because otherwise, if they came later than that, it would be unfair to them.
Yeah.
And we want the students to have the full experience of the course.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Yes.
So in terms of the 20% scholarship, it's for semester 2, 2020. However, like I said earlier, if you don't like the online experience, you get your refund and that scholarship takes you over to semester 1, 2021. Now, whether that scholarship will continue to semester 1, 2021, you'll have to wait and see. There may be some news breaking out from Murdoch University in terms of other courses. I'm not at liberty to announce anything at this stage. However, if you're an international student, if you're onshore in Perth, whether you internationally, if you're watching from Pakistan or India, first of all, welcome to any international student that's watching right now. As long as you are applying as an international student, you will receive the 20% deduction for the remainder of your course, as long as you attempt to start in semester 2, 2020. I hope that does explain. Am I missing anything, Connor? No? Okay, cool.
If I want to do a PhD, will this program get me there?
Okay. If a student wants to do a PhD, then this obviously means that this is an excellent student, first of all. And a student who understands after a year or so that they are really into this and they would like to get their hands dirty, if you want, into research. And as I said, we are offering the students in year 2 the opportunity to do research work in different types of projects, either group or individual ones. And if a student, after their first year, they are really excelling in their studies and they decide that they want to get into research, we are giving them this opportunity. And if they do well, then yes, at the end of the 2 years, you can go into the PhD program.
Cool. With that research topic that they do in that second year, will that closely align to what, if they do get granted access into the PhD, can they use that basis of that research project?
They can. Of course,
okay.
Of course, the PhD is going to be a much more extended version of it,
yeah.
and a lot of additional work, but it can be a starting point. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So you could even not start your PhD, but you could, in your research year, in your second year, use that research topic. If you find yourself particularly fascinated or interested in that particular field, that could, give you a foundation towards that PhD, which is another whole kettle of fish, isn't it? Rather than the master's, which is more course-based, more practical-based.
Does Murdoch have a MIS program course?
MIS, Master in Information Systems. So the IT management specialization contains a lot of many units that are related to information systems. So we are covering information systems in our IT management specialization, but the title of the name of the specialization is IT management, not information system. If that, however, is the specialization that is covering the material relevant to information systems.
We have a number of students asking about deferring their offers and whether that is possible due to COVID. Mm-hmm. Could you address that?
Yeah, so absolutely. If you have an offer for semester 2, 2020, again, you can apply, you can start online. If you're not enjoying that experience, you are able to defer that offer to semester 1, 2021. So yes, absolutely. As long as you have your offer for semester 2, 2020, I encourage you to accept it. It has multiple benefits. First of all, it does carry your scholarship of 20% over to next year, which is semester 1, 2021. And you will get a 100% refund back as long as you withdraw before census day in semester 2, 2020, so this week. So yes, deferrals are definitely possible, particularly if you're not enjoying the experience, but we're so confident that you will, that you won't have to apply for that refund, because the course is pretty much the same. They pre-recorded lectures and tutorials depending on which unit you're doing.
The lectures are pre-recorded, all the tutorials are live, and the experience that several of our students had from the tutorials was in semester 1, where we had to rush into them, and still, because of what was happening, and still the experience that many of our students had was, according to their feedback, was excellent. So I feel confident as well that students who will try this online will be very happy. Of course, having said that, there is nothing like face-to-face teaching. And if a student starts online, although I feel confident they will be happy, we really look forward to welcoming them in the classroom in 2021.
I agree. There isn't anything like, I tried starting my first degree online when I was overseas. I was living in Saudi Arabia at the time, and I had to do a foundational unit. It wasn't anything to do with IT, unfortunately, but and that was years and years ago through a different source, but it wasn't for me, and I decided that I needed to come onshore and do my face-to-face studies for that. So I don't blame you. I do understand, but online courses have come such a long way since then, and you know, the experts and academics have developed them extremely well. So all I can do is encourage you to give it a go. You really don't have much to lose.
Someone's asked, if I study the Master of IT at Murdoch, do I get any industry certification?
Well, no, not industry certification, but depending on the student's performance, they can get industry experience by getting into a project that might be funded or supported by industry, and this opens the door for their future employment. But you don't get any industry certification from any academic program. What you can do, for example, if you are in the Internet Working and Security specialization, is you can take, for example, some Cisco certification tests, which the material for which is basically covered through our units. So it's not that we as Murdoch are offering the certification, but we are offering the knowledge that will help you get the certification.
That makes sense. So we equip you to get the qualification. It would be up to you to do the certification with an organization like Cisco to get that accreditation afterwards.
Someone's asked, must I have work experience if I want to study this course?
No, but of course, if someone has related work experience in IT and they, for example, don't have the relevant bachelor's degree, then it's possible that they can, even if they have a lot of work experience, that they can even be directly entered into the master and not go through the pathway. If someone has an extensive IT experience, this counts. But no, you don't actually need to have IT work experience in order to be admitted into the program.
Although I'm not on the questions and answers, I often get asked two questions that's quite repetitive. One is if all of the specializations are their start dates on both semesters. So
yes,
whether it be
one of the three specializations you can do in February, or
you can do any of the three specializations. You can start any of the three specializations either in semester 1 or in semester 2.
And the second question that I'd be getting quite regularly now, considering everything that's happening in COVID-19, is if there is any possibility of a special intake for this course. So
What do you mean special intake?
So Murdoch operates in semesters, but is there a possibility of a third intake or is anything like that?
If that happens, this is not up to me. This will be a decision made from the administration of Murdoch, so I cannot answer that question. But for now, what we know is that we have semester 1 and semester 2, so our regular intakes. If there is any update on that, we will of course disseminate that information very quickly.
Thank you very much.
Again, just going back to face-to-face learning, like Paul said earlier, we would love to have you in our classrooms. Unfortunately, if you're an international student, that's not possible at the moment. However, when you do come to Perth, it's a place that you will love and appreciate, as we do. It's a really great place to live with lovely weather. It's the top 15th most livable city in the world. It's also the most affordable city.
That's unfair, actually. Perth should be higher up.
I think so. So. Well, I like to keep it a secret. I don't want to tell too many people. So
so it's just between us and whoever is watching.
Exactly.
Okay.
Compared to other cities in Australia, I mean, I don't want to diss them, but I do find Perth more affordable, which is a fact.
And the best weather.
And the best weather, which is a fact as well.
And
we are the
if I may-
sunniest capital city in Australia.
And if I may say so, because I have lived in 3 different continents and traveled a lot around the world, it is really one of the best places that I have ever seen in my life, and I really enjoy living here.
I agree. I was originally born in Africa, then moved into the Middle East, and now finally settled in Australia. And I agree. Perth is full of very, very friendly people. I find that, well, Australia in general is pretty friendly, but Perth is safe and extremely accepting and multicultural. And it's just a great place to come and do your studies, particularly at Murdoch. No other questions? That's a shame. Okay, well, is there anything else you would like to cover?
I think we've covered pretty much all that I had in mind, but if there are any questions, we would be glad to receive them and answer them very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
By the way, we do have a policy of answering all of our students. We have a dedicated, that's something that I would like to add. We have a dedicated email address for all of our postgraduate students where they ask their questions and they get a response within 24 to 48 hours maximum. So that's part of the student experience that we are offering.
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than waiting for an email for a long time, particularly when it's to do with your course. Same thing, you can email us at international@murdoch.edu.au. Also head over to our website, investigate the Masters of IT, look into that double Masters as well, which you can complete in 2 years, which we haven't really covered, but it is a great opportunity to get 2 different master's degrees in a business field and an IT field.
It's business plus data science. It's specifically business and data science.
Okay.
We are not offering MBA plus networking or MBA plus IT management.
Yeah.
It's MBA plus data science, which means that someone will get the necessary qualifications to be a data scientist and have the business understanding as well, which will probably make that person very sought after for employment.
Absolutely. Data drives businesses these days. And, you know, it's a very important factor for employers to look at the moment. Well, I think we might wrap it up there, guys, if that's okay with you. If there's any questions at all, again, please feel free to send those through to international@murdoch.edu.au. You can even give us a call as well. Head over to our website. The international number is there for you to contact us. So this brings us to the end of the IT webinar, and I hope you enjoyed listening, and thank you very much for doing so. I would very much like to thank Dr. Paul for joining us and providing us such an interesting and insightful webinar. We will be sending a recording of this webinar to all the attendees and yourself, Paul, as well, if you want to look back and see how bad a host I am. I do understand.
I think you're doing a great job.
But we wish you farewell, and next time, look forward to welcoming you into the Murdoch community soon, whether it's through your computer screen or whether you arrive in Perth we very much hope to welcome you. Goodbye.